Welcome to the boating adventure. Good morning, it's Monday the 5th of July 2021 and I'm up and about early this morning because I need to go down to the Swamp Duck. Today is the day that the River Canal Rescue are bringing the engine back. I had a phone call from them yesterday afternoon to say that they would be arriving around 9 to 9:30 in the morning. And it's about a 40-minute journey from home down to the boat, so I need to make some tracks. I'm really glad that it's a bit drier and brighter this morning. We've had some really bad weather in the UK over the weekend. We had absolute torrential rain yesterday, and I don't think I would have been very pleased to have been out in that fitting an engine. So I had my fingers crossed, hoping that today would be a lot better. So far, so good. This journey involves me going onto the M1 motorway and then going onto the A42, which eventually becomes the M42. So here we are at Sutton Cheney Wharf. Still looks quite early here. Hardly anybody around.
Broken at all. Remember how it all rooted. He goes round the bottom. He's got the thing in his hand.
Yeah. Caravan in.
And the thing getting stuck in the middle of the sewers.
Oh, that usually does it. That reverse is a lot better.
Beautiful.
Because it did make a lot of clunk in that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the chaps from the River Canal Rescue have been and fitted the engine, and I'm just going to take it down to the water point and just flush the engine out because it did get put in the mud a bit, and then I'm going to fill the tanks up with water and just take it for a little spin just to see everything's okay. Sounds okay. It's had a couple of new spark plugs in it. Apart from that, it's just oils and filters and that kind of thing. Oh yeah. Yeah. The engine has had a good clean and a flush out, and all the P holes are working correctly, so I'm very happy about that. So a big thank you to L.R. Harrison Son of Syerston for servicing the engine, and a big thank you to the River Canal Rescue for doing all the fetching and carrying and refitting it. I'm all ready now for the next adventure of the Swamp Duck. When the engine was refitted, I did notice that the runners that support the engine cover are really quite rotten. This side was really bad, and this one I'd seen better days. You can see underneath the wood is quite rotten. So, as if by magic, there are now some new ones that I just need to put in place. Cut them out. I just need to secure them, and they'll need painting up then, and that's another little job done. The runners are both now in place and ready for painting. Once they've been painted, then I need to put the rubber seals on the top. All of the previously drilled holes for the old runners have been sealed with water weld, so it should keep them watertight. Okay, so I've fixed the rubbers on, just need to let the whole thing completely dry off, and I can remove the tape and just tidy up the sides, a bit of paint, and that's another job done. Having had the engine serviced, it seems to be okay, but I'm just taking it down on a run down the Ashby Canal, and I'm going as far as between bridges 10 and 8, or even 8 and 6. I don't think there isn't a bridge 7, but somewhere around there. I'm going to moor up because I want to go and have a look at one of the villages that I've not looked at yet, and I think that's called Burton Hastings. So I'm going to have a look around that and see if there's anything to film. I believe there's quite an old church there which is called St Botolph's, so we're going to have a look at that. The engine seems to be behaving itself. So it's a beautiful sunny Saturday afternoon on the Ashby Canal. Fairly quiet today, but then it is the women's Wimbledon final. And tomorrow, of course, it's the European Cup final, so maybe people are staying at home and watching things like that on the television. So I'm just having a We'll walk along the towpath, and then we're going to turn off and go up towards Burton Hastings. Going to look at the church. After all the rain that we've had in the last few weeks, the towpath is quite muddy in places. So this is bridge 8. We're actually moored up between bridges 8 and the non-existent bridge 7. There wasn't anything like Arncote that we could moor up to between 10, 9 and 8. So we've had to come a little bit further to find some Arncote. Just had a very long conversation with a couple of YouTube vloggers. I believe they have a channel called More2, as in number 2, Explore, which I need to have a good look at when I get back to the boat. It's just nice to meet other people who are interested in this kind of adventure. So this little track is taking me up to the church at Burton Hastings, and it looks quite interesting. Burton Hastings is only a small hamlet really. In the 2011 census it showed that there was just over 200 people living here. Some very pretty lanes here, and of course this is only a stone's throw from the Ashby Canal. So again, if you're in this vicinity and you moor up between the bridges 8 and 6, then perhaps you recommend that you make a trip up to these villages, because they do get kind of missed. So this is the church. Just need to find the entrance. I enter the church by the south porch, and as customary I come across the font first of all, which looks like the pedestal is more recent than the bowl. It is certainly made out of sandstone, and the date of it is something within the region of 1300 to 1500.
Unusually, this little ancient pipe organ is at the rear of the nave. So we turn around and look at the nave, which is quite simple, not a great deal in decoration. The chancel too is quite simple. There may have been a gallery at some time. There's the pulpit on the right hand side. And the lectern there on the left. We go into the chancel. And a little bit of sanctuary there at the top end. St Botolph's Church was originally a 14th century building, though it is recorded that there was a priest in Burton Hastings in 1086. The chancel and part of the tower are considered 14th century. The nave was rebuilt at the beginning of the 16th century, followed by the rebuilding of the tower. One of the few memorials is to George Tukey. George was a soldier in the 14th Light Dragoons and was killed in action at the Battle of Chilianwala during the Second Anglo-Sikh War in the Punjab in India. His parents are also buried in the church graveyard. There are 5 bells in this tower, 3 of which date back to 1657. There's quite a lot of modern housing development in this village, which is slightly disappointing, but there are some older properties here. Whilst some of the houses that I saw in the village are not of any great age, some are, including these outbuildings, and I notice from the brick pattern that they are built using the three-course common bonding or English garden wall bonding. And both these methods produced really strong structures. And both those methods of bonding placed these buildings around the end of the 18th century. This rather grand three-storey house opposite the church was built using three stretchers to one header, which makes for an extremely strong and tough wall. This is one of the more modern houses built in the village, and obviously it has been built to kind of look old, but it's built using running bond, which is a 20th century invention, and it allowed for cavity wall and cavity wall insulation. So the brickwork does give away its age. English bonding was used up until the beginning of the 17th century, and I haven't seen any buildings in that style, so it would suggest that none of the buildings go back that far, unless of course they've been rendered in the meantime. Looking at the brickwork and the windows of this house, I would say it was certainly 18th century and probably built around 1740. So in this village you have a 14th century church, which is surrounded with some 18th century houses and buildings and some modern 20th and even 21st century buildings. So it's back down this hedge-lined lane to the boat. This is an absolutely beautiful spot here. It really does pay to moor up along the Ashby Canal and get off and leave the boat and explore the area. There's so much to see. The couple I was just talking to a minute ago said that a lot of people say, oh, you only need 3 days to do the Ashby Canal. That's if you just want to keep travelling, but to actually do it justice, you need to spend some time getting off the boat and looking at these places in great detail. There's a tremendous amount of history to this area.
think it's time to get the umbrella out and a chair and enjoy a beer by the tow path. That sounds like a really good plan. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, then please press the subscription button on the bottom right hand corner of the screen on your mobile phone or tablet, which is displayed throughout my videos. And please press the bell icon on the home page of the channel and you'll be notified by YouTube each time I upload a new video. Please give us a thumbs up and make any comments below, as I do enjoy reading them and I will respond to each and every one of them. So thank you very much for watching and do take care.